Oh my gosh, been doing this for 20 plus years. Not only is it dramatic, but heartbreaking to see, but this is a classic telltale cover collapse sinkhole that was triggered by Hurricane Milton. This opened up on October 10th. They say approximately about 1 a.m. And gratefully, thankfully, as far as we know, nobody was injured in this cover collapse sinkhole. We're coming out today just to educate you a little bit on sinkholes, and we'll go through some of the kind of possible causes that a massive amount of rainfall caused. I think TICO, in their statement they put out, it was a 1 in 1,000, get that, a 1 in 1,000 rainfall event that we had. Not a 1 in 100, a 1 in 1,000. So it was unprecedented. As we walk around, we'll kind of start out from outside the barrier, but you can kind of see just the destruction that a cover collapse sinkhole can cause. If you kind of room around to me, you got the truck that fell down into the hole, but just the amount of damage that one can cause, and what occurred and why you see these pop up after a hurricane. If you're tuning in, click to subscribe, follow along. This is not common. These are very rare events. Jay Silver, president of Helicon, been doing this 20 plus years, done thousands and thousands of sinkhole repairs, as well as different foundation repairs that aren't sinkhole, just loose sandy soil. So we're your go-to problem solvers and trusted advisor for anything that's loose soil, sandies, whether it's sinking concrete, sinking foundation, whether it's your business, your home, we typically have a solution. And as bad as this looks, in this case, it unfortunately looks like a total loss for definitely this building, most likely this home here, this home. But you can come back in, and there are techniques that we'll go through that you can repair this once the ground has been stabilized and pumped full of, it's called a compaction grouting process, where we'll pump concrete into the ground from the limestone layer up, cap that, seal it. We're not engineers, we haven't done any testing, but definitely looks like a telltale cover collapse sinkhole. That'll still yet to be confirmed by engineers, but by the signs of it, that's what we look like we have here. We're not even going to go into the back part of the property. We may just come up, possibly push our bounds and come over the caution tape just to take a little bit of a closer look. Everything's been pretty dry for, gosh, about, this was on the 10th. We're shooting this on the 21st, so it's been almost 2 weeks. The soil has been dried out some, so things are pretty stable at this point. What typically occurs when a storm like Milton comes through back to back, we had Helene and then Milton, totally different storms. Milton had much more rainfall, but when you have massive amounts of rainfall in a short period of time, rain takes time to percolate through the soil slowly and go down to the aquifer and build up hydrostatic pressure. It goes through cracks and crevices, possibly in this case sinkholes, and in normal conditions it'll fill up those holes and keep that hydrostatic pressure pushing up onto the soil and keeping the ground above stable. In this case, again, massive amount of water in a short amount of time doesn't give the soil enough time to percolate and puts in a massive amount of weight. So the weight of that topsoil not allowing to seep down or percolate through the soil caused that upper soil to become so heavy. For some, the rainfall started throughout the whole day on Thursday, but really hard into the night. So all that weight around 1 p.m. just gave way, and you can kind of see in the center here, here the slope, it's not too great of some that we've seen, like the Land Lake sinkhole, but right here in the center is kind of your hourglass. We were on one in Clearwater the other day, right? Just a little smaller than this one, little hole in the front, perfect round circle. But this does have the makings of the top of the hourglass, and in the center, down probably about where the yellow, is that Chevy there? Yellow Chevy is. That's kind of where the throat, probably the center of that, sucked down through and took with it, gave way of the top burdened soil. That's where the sinkhole formed. Also sucked down some of this soil in the front yard. Check this oak out. You can kind of see, this is a great perspective for those. This is a grand, maybe I don't know if it's the size for a grand, but you see it splitting in the middle. So definitely this tree will have to be taken out. But this is a live oak. Check out this root system that kept it, and stay back here, it's a little unstable, but check out this root system here where it really held the tree in and kept this soil. You can see it even extending, and this is a great view, folks, for why you don't want to put oak trees next to the foundation of your house. Just check out how far that root system extends. Thankfully, those small roots up around the corner of the house there, you know, that's not anything that's going to be a too big a deal to the foundation, but check those out around the trunk. You know, you imagine those growing underneath the foundation of your house. Just not an ideal situation. And what are we from here? Probably at least 20 feet. So you can see the distance. Kind of you want to keep your tree from your house. We're going to stay back, but you can see it, you know, again, kind of sucked into that center there. Insurance is going to be involved, and some may be wondering, hey, is this covered by insurance? And thankfully the answer is yes, this is covered by insurance. Cover collapse sinkholes are still covered under your insurance policy, mandatory. 2011 SB 408, the insurance companies got together and changed the laws around sinkhole to where you're not covered for a subsident sinkhole or a gradual sinkhole that's down deep and it's slowly damaging the house, but it's not breached or collapsed at the surface, which is unfortunate. It's almost similar to, I guess you could describe it to let's say in a dentistry, where, you know, maybe you have a cavity, but it's not quite yet to a root canal, so you can't get coverage to get it fixed yet until it becomes a root canal. Then you can get it fixed and you have coverage. Kind of an odd change. Some changes did have to be made, but it swung very far into the insurance company's favor. But in this case, this is covered. Unfortunately, a lot of folks out here that weren't in flood zones, that don't have flood coverage, they have no coverage for that. I don't know what the policies are on these houses, but in a lot of cases, when the repairs exceed the policy, the insurance company will consider it a total loss and disperse out the insurance proceeds, or they may elect to repair. In a lot of cases, and Helicon is the go-to provider, #1 sinkhole repair company in Florida. We work with every single engineer, dozens and dozens of insurance companies. So when these cases come up, we will put some prices to what needs to be done to fix it. Again, this is an extreme case. 90% of the time, the cover collapses are more minor. If you tuned into our Palm Harbor sinkhole, it was a perfect large sinkhole in the middle of the house, but the whole house, nothing was damaged. And unfortunately, in this case, the sinkhole is of size that it did extremely damage these homes, especially the one to the right here. Hopefully the one behind it can be, you know, over down where they have caution tape around that area of it. Looks like they're still living in that house. It hasn't been red tagged like these ones. You do see probably on the front where they have red tagged the house, marking it unsafe here on the front window. The fire department or the city or municipality marking it that this is not allowed to be lived in, very warranted. Nobody would want to occupy these structures at this point. But if the insurance company did elect to repair it, just go into that real quickly. These are fully repairable. We've repaired bigger ones than this. The Trinity sinkhole we did up in Pasco County was probably of this size magnitude, probably larger. The process for this first would be to bring in some fill dirt. Well, first you got to get out the truck, any pollutants. There would be some environmental cleaning. Engineer would also do some testing, kind of give an idea of what this would take to repair, but it would be done in definitely a process called compaction grouting, where we pump drill casings, steel casings into the ground and pump concrete under pressure and upward stage that, pumping at one depth, pulling up, pumping, pulling up, pumping. But before that, we have to have a nice flat working surface. So this would need to be backfilled in. Probably this tree is a danger. This would need to be removed. This is a plot. If it is determined, that could be cleared and redeveloped and stabilized. And once the limestone is capped and we pump that concrete under the footprint of the new structure that goes in place, the homeowner can just have a peace of mind. We've been doing this, again, 20 plus years, foundation repair and soil stabilization and sinkhole repairs specifically is one of our specialties. And we've had very proud and happy to report we've had 0 reoccurrence rates in Florida over that time. Thousands and thousands of repairs. So if you are a neighbor, you definitely want to be on the lookout. Also after a storm, just going around your house, doing a quick inspection, looking for crack settlement. Obviously it's not going to be as extreme as this, but you can see some stair-step cracking on the corner there before the block started falling. But you're just looking for cracking in the block or stucco, on the inside, any cracking in the drywall or spots along the roof line, or you're looking at your baseboard or floors pulling away from your baseboard. Very important after a storm, just do a quick check, walk around. If you see anything that catches your eye and you'd like an expert, a trusted advisor to come out and look, give Helicon a call, schedule your free assessment, foundation assessment with us, or inspection. Whatever the foundation or soil issue is, I'm sure we have a great option and solution for you.